It's showtime, folks. Welcome in. Chase and Big Joe, 1025, 1063, the game. Happy Tuesday to you. He is Big Joe Dubin, Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier behind the glass. I'm Chase McCabe with you. Hope you're having a wonderful day so far, and hope you had a nice, safe Memorial Day. Hope you took some time to remember those that we have lost in service, as that weekend was about. But what's up, Joe?
There we go. Press. You know it's crazy. You press the red button, your mic
press
comes on, right? Yeah. How you doing, man? So you got your voice back from an exciting Saturday night of Nashville Cats football.
I did. Yeah, it was fun. Really enjoyed it. A good crowd on hand. So that was really cool. Hats off to the Cats, and they got the win. So that was fun.
People asking me, friends, just like, how was it? I'm like, it's fun. We know what it is. It's arena football. It's fun. The crowd had a seeing them open sections at Municipal Auditorium because the crowd was so good was really, we like Greg and Coach Fisher and all that. And so it's good for everybody involved. And it was just a fun night of football and people got into it. It was really cool.
Dr. Crane, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, gentlemen. I am been busy. I did a whole thing of, I guess, what do you call that?
Shower?
No, not showering. It's with the driveway. You sealed the driveway.
Oh,
did
nice.
that this past weekend. It was very busy. Shoulder hurts a little bit, but besides that, we're great.
Did you go to Lowe's and get some sealer and grunt the whole time like buying like tool time?
Yeah, you could say that. You call me Tim the Toolman Taylor. I mean, just it was busy.
I'm telling you, sealing a driveway is extremely therapeutic.
It's really
satisfying.
Is. Really especially if it's hot, then you just take your shirt off and get a tan, which was kind of.
What time is this going to be?
Whoa, easy now, Joe.
Noon?
No.
Pressure washing is also very therapeutic.
It is.
Mowing the grass, like I mowed the grass this weekend. It was very therapeutic.
Do you stand on the front porch with a beer and admire what you've done?
I do, actually. 100%.
He's like, I did that.
So
he takes him.
That's good.
So, and by the way, I full disclosure, I tried to separate this weekend and just be off. So I did not listen to the fine program of Force Company yesterday, but I'm going to assume it was great.
Yeah, went fine. Not
That's
too
good.
shabby. And another great show. We all go out there and give 100% effort.
That's what
it should be.
That's what I love to hear.
You just don't read the text that people send in, but other than that, that's,
oh no, I read the text. They just didn't acknowledge it.
Yeah. Like if you guys haven't listened, it's something that's kind of near and dear to me to give these guys their reps. But Dr. Crane, Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, they do a great job on Saturday mornings 9 to 11 usually. But get to step up to the big leagues every now and then, especially this time of year. So great job on that. So I mowed my grass, and I have a good bit of land, so there's a lot of real estate to cover with
push mower or rider.
Well, that's what I'm getting to.
Okay.
So I have both. However, the riding mower, I broke the belt. So hair metal Henry, I've already broken a belt on the mower that you saw me.
No.
But so I got to replace that. So I haven't done that yet. And I was like, my push mower, for whatever reason, like at the start of the season, would not start. And like my neighbor's looking at it. There's something in the carburetor, like it, and I'm like, well, crap. So it's just super high. And I'm like, man, I don't want to walk through that. And I'm like, you know what? For giggles, I'm going to see this mower's been sitting here for a minute. I'm going to see if maybe it'll start up.
All right.
Started right up.
And you're like, damn it.
No, I was actually really happy. So I was like, all right, here we go. I mowed all around my house, most of it with the push mower, and it was a workout, but it was so satisfying.
Any snakes around?
Did not see any snakes.
Did you check yourself for ticks?
I did. We pulled a couple off.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay.
So I went to Lowe's, and I got the stuff to spray around the house for ticks. So
I believe you can burn those off as well.
You can, yeah.
Didn't we have an argument last year about this?
We had an argument like 2 weeks ago about this. Probably.
About something aroma around the house so it ticks away and everything.
Yeah.
So what?
But you can, and it's crazy too. Like if you burn them, like they'll like incinerate.
Really?
Oh yeah.
What do you have? Bug zappers are great too.
Yeah,
because I like watching.
You talk about a satisfying.
I like that. I used to get a tennis racket and smack carpenter bees. They come around, and that was so much fun doing that. So how long did it take you?
Like an hour and a half.
Headphones on?
Oh yeah.
What's the jam?
I was in a classic rock mood. So we had
Okay.
some Rush, we had some Journey, we had some Skinner in there, some Zeppelin. Like I would just
Getting it
70s
done.
and 80s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes the time go. I can't do podcasts when I'm
No.
doing stuff
I need
like that.
music.
Yeah.
I need it because I'm singing. I'm kind of like trying to find the beat,
Yeah.
So
okay, good then.
yeah.
I like it.
I want to get the riding mower fixed because that's better for my land, and that's fun too. I mean, that's you're kind of cruising around. See you, Joe. You have a good one.
There's nothing more annoying than chewing gum. So I'm like, I got gum. What am I doing? I don't do that.
Did the mint flavor go away?
It's the cinnamon, man. The Mentos cinnamon.
Better.
Like Big Red.
It's addicting. I got to stop doing that. I mean, I'll buy a whole thing. I eat the whole thing in a day, man. I can't do that. So it's good.
Shout out to Vanderbilt getting the #1 overall seed. They win the SEC tournament. What's funny is like I had planned to come in here and be like, Vandy's back, baby. And then I hear Robbie and Raxro discuss right before we came on, did they ever really leave? And I mean, if you think about it, 19 straight postseason appearances, which is amazing under Tim Corbin. He's been there 23 years, I think. Is that right? Or is it longer than that?
03, right? So 03 to 25 would be 20 because you count seasons.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's
what he told us when he's on the show with us.
So you think about that, and you've made the regionals 19 straight times since he's been there. Yeah. I mean that's just
he's done it to himself.
Yeah,
which is good.
Right.
It's like
it's a good problem to have.
It's like we took for the Nashville Predators going to the playoffs every year, and they don't. We're like, hey man, and you're like, oh wait, they went all these years in a row. So for Vanderbilt doing that, I just like the fact that they just played their game, shut their mouth, and won. That's it. All the other hype that goes on, and not saying you can get emotional and you get excited about playing baseball like the Vols did, which is fine. That's just not Vandy's MO, man. And they rolled through that. So them getting the #1 seed. I think if they win the region, is it Southern Miss? I think it's Southern Miss that comes here.
They're like a 16 overall seed, I believe.
Yeah, so 116, right? My son-in-law went to Southern Miss, so I'll be torn on that right now a little bit.
Yeah. Tennessee, a 14 seed. They'll host a regional. And then if they're able to get out of that, then I believe they would go to Fayetteville.
Correct. Which is
not going to be, it's not going to be easy. I mean, I think that Vanderbilt, has an opportunity to make a run to Omaha, but things have to go their way. I mean, they've gotten hot at the right time. I think that Tennessee series was kind of when they shifted into another gear, but they have got to continue that through this. They, you don't have to be perfect by any means, but they have to limit their mistakes. And if they can do that, then I see no reason why Vanderbilt wouldn't be in Omaha.
I always go back to that 07 Vandy team with David Price. It was just loaded. And then Michigan beat him in the regional, and they hit the home run off David Price on that Monday night, which is like 11 o'clock at night. I always go back to that. Like, man, that team was so good. The 13 team was good at Vandy, probably the best team Corbin's ever had over there. But I know they won the title in 14 and 19, but hopefully they can do it again. There's very few coaches now in college that have won multiple national championships. With Saban gone, that took one out of the mix. So you got Corbin and Dabo. Am I leaving another football coach out? That's current coach
that has done what? What was your
multiple national championships?
Dabo is one. Kirby's
Kirby.
one.
Yeah, all right. Kirby added to that list. Basketball would be the guy in Connecticut everybody hates.
Hurley.
Yep. Geno's one and women's.
Geno, yeah.
Don Staley won too.
Yeah,
South Carolina. So there's only a handful of coaches that won multiple national championships.
Men's basketball, I'm trying to think if there's who else is active.
Well, Jay Wright got out. So that was
Coach K got out.
Coach K got out. I don't think so. Because Drew won it in 21 at
Who
Baylor.
won this year? I don't even remember who won this year.
Won it? You're talking about Florida?
Florida. Yeah, that's right.
Good Lord. Yeah, so he's only won one. So that's good for him. Good for Corbin. Good for that. So guy's a damn treasure, man. We're sitting there talking Vanderbilt baseball.
Yeah.
20 years ago, we're not talking Vanderbilt baseball.
No.
None of this.
He's made it relevant. And he proved a lot of people wrong this year, because I think there were a lot of people who are like, yeah, they're not coming back.
Passed him by.
You know, he's lost his fastball. The game's passed him by. He doesn't want to play the portal. He don't, you know, and it's like, and he's so humble. He's not going to be this way. But in some ways, he was kind of like, hold my beer. Watch
Yeah, right? That's what he's done. So, well, hold on now.
And to his, you know, the thing I like about Tim Corbin is I don't think he loves, you know, where the game is gone and the game that you have to play, but he's also willing to play it, you know, and do it his way, and also continue to develop by recruiting out of high school and bringing in guys. And
think of all the guys he's lost to the draft.
Sure.
I mean, it's that list. I saw the list. It's amazing. Guys have gone on. What the Yankees shortstop, I forget that dude's name, was coming here. And he, you know, got drafted by the Yankees. He's going to be their shortstop. And
Anthony Volpe.
There you go. Right. Is he starting for them?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. It's Vanderbilt guy. You know, so it's all the people he've lost, and good for them. And it's a positive thing at that school. And they needed a positive, athletic, impactful coach. He was the one, because, you know, they went to the bowl game. Was it 08? They went to the bowl game, and football, basketball had been made some tournaments, but this guy took it to the next level, made us watch baseball, college baseball at that. So good for Tim Corbin.
Yes, indeed. We will talk to Andrew Allegretta coming up at the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. He, of course, on the call, as you heard here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We'll get his thoughts on Vanderbilt in the regional and all of that moving forward. A lot to break down from the weekend, but coming up next, we'll get to our question of the day.
Here it is. Our question of the day. We want everybody to respond on this, 615-737-1025. Something
Driven
that happened
by WilsonCountyHonda.com.
Thank you. Something that happened this weekend. And Chase McCabe, our question, I've already told Dr. Crane, so you can put it on the Twitter sphere, X sphere, whatever it is. Chase McCabe, who is the most influential person in football right now? The most influential person in football right now.
NFL or college?
All the way across the board.
That is an extremely easy answer for me.
Okay.
I will tell you coming up next.
Sounds good, pal.
615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com. It's Chase and Big Joe on 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Eastern Kentucky. I like the way this feels, you know? Head coach Walt Wills. Good luck. Keep it rolling. Go Colonels. I'll see you at the Casa Fiesta Mexican. Daniel Boone was a man. Yes, a big man.
Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on this Tuesday. Shout out to John Gruden, giving a shout out to the coach, Walt Wells, and the Colonels of Eastern Kentucky. By the way, do you know this song?
Summertime Girls?
Yeah.
Kiss?
Nope.
David Lee Roth?
Nope. They're a band. If Hair Metal Henry's listening, he knows who this is.
God, turn it up. Can you? Sammy Hagar.
Nope.
Damn it.
Y&T.
Oh my goodness.
Had a few hits in the 80s. This was one of them. Dagwood is who got me into Y&T, but I love this song.
Wow.
I've actually seen them live at
I remember them.
It was a small venue, but it was really cool. But
I
anyway,
guessed them for another hour, wouldn't have gotten it right.
that was really cool to see John Gruden. He does the box openings on his X account, and then did it with Walt Wells and the Colonels.
So, which leads to our question today: who right now is the most influential person in football? And I'm telling you, after the unboxing that John Gruden does for football teams in the coaching and player world, John Gruden is the most influential person right now. I talked to Coach Wells last night. He said the people weighing in and commenting and sending him notes, the after effect of all that is unlike anything he's ever seen. And that was coaching at Kentucky and Tennessee. He said he heard from so many coaches and ex-players about what John Gruden did, and talked to other coaches who he's done an unboxing for, and the same thing. The guy is just amazingly. Now, you could come at me with Greg Sankey or Roger Goodell. Those guys are pawns. I don't think they're influential. I think they're pawns, right?
Well, you just ruined you just totally killed my thunder.
Well, you can say whoever you want.
Greg Sankey's the most influential person in football.
I don't think he is.
I think,
and that's fine.
I think he is running college football without running college football.
But he's not,
everything that the SEC does or he says needs to happen eventually happens.
Players and coaches don't give a rat's ass about Greg Sankey. I'm talking about
that's fine. They don't have
football.
To. They don't. With Goodell,
he's talking about things off the field that they don't concern these guys.
Yeah, but they should, because I think in many ways he's responsible for college football being where it is now.
Okay, I mean,
with the NIL, with transfer portals, with becoming a pro league, he has had a lot to do with that.
He's important. I will give you that. He's important, but influential. I think it's John Gruden, and right under John Gruden, I think it's Andy Reid. I think Andy Reid has taken the game of offensive football to another level that people are trying to emulate in all leagues, junior high, high school, college, JUCO, on down.
Do you credit Andy Reid for that, or do you credit Patrick Mahomes because he's able to do that?
I credit Andy Reid with that, because Andy Reid did it with with Donovan McNabb. I mean, he did some amazing things with McNabb and never won a Super. And I get they didn't win a Super Bowl. I understand all that, but Mahomes helps him to go out. Mahomes is running the game plan that Andy Reid created. But as far as football, I mean, I was just talking to him last night. It's like just people in the coaching world and all that. They're just love Gruden and all with this unboxing that goes on. I mean, I'm thinking, is there anybody close between? I'll throw Sankey in there. And to me, Goodell is a pawn. He doesn't do anything for me. But those guys, I mean, is there anybody else in the neighborhood?
615-737-1025, 6638 says, easy question, Roger Goodell. And he then responds to you and says, Joe, social media influence does not mean most influential.
Pretty big. It's in this world, it's pretty damn big. Go watch all those unboxings that he does and the views and the teams and the comments. I mean, it's huge. And, we go back to the Gruden quarterback camp. I mean, that was must-watch football, because it's unlike something we'd never seen before. Unlike these bozos on ESPN now and trying to break something down. I mean, Gruden got into it. I mean, it was something different we'd never seen before.
Nevada Josh says, I got one that nobody else will name. Hunter Renfrow. Dude leaves the NFL in his prime because he was diagnosed with a sickness, gets his health under control. Now he's back at it with the Panthers. It's a good way to show people never give up and keep fighting your fight. I love that. Like, probably not the most influential, but feel good, something to definitely watch for. So
absolutely,
I do like that.
Yeah.
Devin and Dixon, for me, it's still Nick Saban in college, and then it's Roger Goodell for the NFL. What Goodell wants, he gets no matter what. Keep in mind, though, to your point, what Goodell does is what basically 3 or 4 owners tell him to do.
Yeah. He works for the owners.
He works for 3 or 4 owners.
Yep.
I mean, in your mind, like the most influential owners in the league are probably Jerry Jones. Kraft is, whether you like him or not, is probably still up there. Jeffrey Lurie is probably up there. The Hunts are up there. The Rooneys.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got bosses, and
right.
And look, no disrespect, but if Amy Adams Strunk calls and says, "Hey Roger, can we work on doing this?" In his mind, sure.
Let me get back to you on that.
Let me get back to you on that.
Right.
Well, hey, we'll circle back after the first of the year. You know, I mean, it's. And then if he calls Jerry, Jerry's like, "Hey, Raj, this is what I want. I want him. This is what I want."
Oh my gosh.
Yes, sir, Mr. Jones. Devin and Antioch. This is an interesting one. Or Dylan and Antioch, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, it's probably Pat McAfee.
I could see that.
That's an interesting one.
I think Gruden trumps McAfee, but I still think McAfee is out there. Yeah, I mean it's I get it.
5885. Another great take from woke Joe Dubin.
Woke. Oh my God. That's the last thing I am.
Yeah. CT says Jerry Jones. I think at one time he might have been in the NFL. I don't think so anymore.
Right. I mean, it's Jerry, right? I mean, we all laugh at him. We all, what's he going to do next? We don't talk about any other owner in the league like this, do we?
Mm-mm.
Like, what's happening with Jerry? It's all about Jerry. So yeah. I do that. But this is a great debate because there's no number one unanimously,
right?
You know.
Well, and I think, I mean, you have to separate college and pro. Like, there's one for college, there's one for pro, at least right now. At some point, maybe it's for both. But
I think Saban lost a little when he retired or got out. I mean, he's still,
but he's still listened to.
Yeah, he does. But I just after going back and watch these Gruden things and the response and all the coaches and players and just what it did, nobody else would do this.
No, it's smart. And whoever got him to do that.
Yes. He's done it for a bunch of teams. I mean, it's not going to have the same effect on that. It's just not.
Yeah. 615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHoney.com. Kenny, the mailman, wants to weigh in. Hello, Kenny.
Hey, I tell y'all who's influential. Y'all two are. You know why?
Why is that?
Because listening to y'all interview the stars of the last rodeo and talking about it, the lovely and gracious Babette and I dressed up, and we went to see it yesterday on an official date. Now, she's a little ticked off to get the AARP discount. We went at 10:30 a.m. She didn't get her popcorn, but you know what? We both enjoyed it. Did y'all enjoy it?
I've seen about 19 different clips. I've not seen the entire movie yet, but how was it?
Yeah, it was really good. I give it a good solid B. And the main thing I liked about it, there's no huge stars in it, but you recognize just about everybody. And I think Hollywood messes up. These character actors have paid their dues. They're in tons of stuff. They know what they're doing. And Neil McDonald and Mikhail Williams, and the guy Shooter, they were very, very good in it. So it was just a good, pleasurable story. You didn't feel dirty sitting listening to the language. It wasn't a, outlandish story. And I don't like rodeo. I wouldn't sit and watch anything about the rodeo, but they built a good story around it. So yeah, I give it a good B.
Love it. Look at you.
Awesome.
You're like a young Siskel and Ebert over there.
I appreciate y'all finding stuff like that. And, just maybe on the outskirts of sports and everything, but it gave us something good to do. And Babette is very, very happy I did something and got her out of the house.
Attaboy.
Well, happy to hear it. Thanks, Kenny.
Y'all have a great day.
You too. Kenny the mailman joining us here on the program.
Should be a weekly segment. Kenny at the movies.
I like that. Mailman at the movies.
There we go.
Oh yeah, that's that. Kenny, think about that. I like that.
Dr. Crane, your movie review has been restricted after you got Dallas, the TV show, confused with another movie with Dallas in the title.
That is
and
an all-time.
VHS.
That's an all-time moment.
Just saying.
We had that on VHS.
I'm a pure brain guy. I just don't see, way past
the
that.
look I gave Chase, he gave me when you said, I was like, this has to be wrong. This has to be wrong. But part of me hopes it wasn't. It was correct, but oh well.
It was wrong.
It was wrong. Oh, that's so good. Coming up next, there is something that is going to happen that a league is not going to like. And it kind of got me thinking about something related to here and the harsh reality that we all live in. I'll explain what that means coming up next. It's Chase and Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel and broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on this Tuesday. Dr. Crane back there on the ones and twos. I like it. I don't know what this is, but I like it.
Something big country. I don't know.
Okay, all right. David Stewart, good to see Big Dave.
Big man, worst interview ever. But he told us when he could interview him, he's like, hey, you don't interview me. I'm terrible. And he was.
He and Roos didn't have much to say, but they showed it on the field.
They're great. They're great.
They were awesome. So I kind of alluded to it going to the break, but if you've been paying attention to what's going on in the NHL and the NBA, you will notice that at least one side of the bracket is going to do something that the league, they won't admit it, but they're going to hate. And in the case of the NBA, they could get both to the finals. And what I mean by that is you're basically going to get in the NBA, Oklahoma City or Minneapolis, Minnesota, likely Oklahoma City since they're up 3-1, against either Indianapolis, Indiana, or New York. Okay. Now, the NBA would love the New York TV market. But if the Pacers keep playing the way they've been playing, I mean, they very well could be up 3-0, then it could be Pacers Thunder in the NBA Finals, which the NBA would never admit it. Adam Silver would never admit it.
Right.
But they would hate it because of the TV market.
I mean, Indiana, Oklahoma City would just not appeal to anyone outside those areas and a diehard NBA fan.
So I'm not a diehard NBA fan. Like I don't even know if I'm a perimeter NBA fan. Like I barely pay attention to it until we get to the playoffs.
Right.
I've been watching some of both these series and I've been thoroughly entertained. I think it will be good basketball if it's Oklahoma City, who I think is the best team in the playoffs, against Indiana or against New York. I mean, I
should want to watch that.
TV market aside, I think you'll see good basketball.
I should want to watch that, but I don't think I will. I mean, and that just because it's Indiana and Oklahoma City, and I think it's good basketball.
And then in the NHL, even though Carolina won last night to stay alive, probably going to get Florida. And I know you may think, oh, that's Miami. It sort of is, but that it's not a household name, the Florida Panthers, even though they're the defending Stanley Cup champions. And then you could get Dallas or you could get Edmonton, which is not a great TV market. So it's kind of the same thing in the NHL side. But again, I think these playoffs have been very compelling. So the reason I bring this up is we always say that, the league, they wouldn't like this. You brought up, as we were kind of talking about this in our pre-show meeting, that really just us talking in the hallway is what it was.
No, pre-show meeting.
Dr. Crane, made a joke. It was awesome. But you said, the league the NFL would probably hate Arizona. And I go, what about Tennessee?
Yeah. I mean,
the sad reality is the Titans, we would love to see them get to the Super Bowl again, but the sad reality is the NFL would hate it.
Yeah. I couldn't see when you brought Tennessee up, I'm thinking I can't see the forest because of the trees. And Arizona, Tennessee would be an awful matchup for the National Football League that the home office would absolutely hate. Carolina, Tennessee. I mean, you take those teams, they would hate that. That's why I'm making the Indiana, Oklahoma City, the league office like, oh, yeah, happy face. But inside, like, oh, my God, this is terrible. I mean, can you imagine an Arizona, Tennessee Super Bowl? It'd be the lowest rated one of all time. Because I think Carolina, Denver, if I remember correctly, was the lowest rated one of all the ones that went on. That was back in the 2015 season. But
I forgot. I mean, that was Peyton's last game too, wasn't it?
That's when I'm gonna go home and give me some Budweiser. That's $1 million in my pocket, man. Papa John, get your ass over here, man. Let me give you a hug, man. That's another $1 million for me. But no, I think that you're right, man. And I feel bad about myself thinking that Tennessee's not in that echelon. They're so far at the bottom that the league office would be like, oh God, what's going on here? You're right.
Yeah, and Mike and Lemon said the Stars would be massive in Texas, no doubt. And Dallas, is a good TV market. So I mean, I think that
Top 10, yeah.
You know, the
Well,
league.
Miami's top 5 or top 10. I'm sorry.
I know, but I don't think Miami, correct me if I'm wrong. If there's anybody listening from Miami, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Miami's a good sports town. I think there are people that like the Dolphins because of the history and Dan Marino and all of that. But I don't feel like the Heat has this, huge loyal following. The Marlins definitely don't. Like, I think people forget the Marlins even exist.
Soccer is. We talked to our good friend.
That's a good point.
Our good friend Amy, we were down there for the MTSU game. We talk about soccer and Messi and all how that.
So how much of that, and that's a really good point. And Dr. Crane, you may want to weigh in on this. How much of that is Messi? How much of that is a high Hispanic population, which generally, loves football or soccer?
Oh yeah.
How much of it is both? I mean, that I think is a really, really good point. But like, the Florida Panthers play in Sunrise. They don't play in Miami. They're actually, I think, closer to Fort Lauderdale than they are Miami. And so I don't think they get a lot of traction from Miami proper. So that's a part of it. But Dr. Crane, how would you say, what is it, Miami FC or
Inter Miami? Yeah.
Inter Miami? Yeah. I mean, I feel like, how much of it is the population and how much of it is Messi?
I think it's kind of grown as Messi's, been in attendance for Inter Miami's roster, but I'd say it's more Messi than Miami itself. Okay. I think there's been a lot of fans that have gravitated towards Inter Miami, obviously because of his name and, his career, but he brings in a lot of his friends as well that bring in a lot of, attraction eyeballs. So I'd say it's more the team than it is the actual fan base.
Okay, that's fair. Justin on our text line says, to be honest, I couldn't give two poops about the NBA, but if the final is Indiana and Oklahoma, I might actually watch that. The league seemed to be stacked so long towards big markets that it's unappealing. So you might actually get the opposite.
That's why
I'm kind of with him on that.
I should be watching that. It just doesn't sound appealing to me when I know it's like, oh, they're the big market teams when this could be really good basketball.
But I mean, like, I know Oklahoma has SGA who just won the MVP, but like there aren't, Tyrese Halliburton. If I say the name Tyrese Halliburton, you're looking at me like I have no idea who that is.
No clue. I think it's the isn't that the briefcase, the Halliburton?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. No. He's one of the main stars for the Indiana Pacers.
Okay.
So, but if I say LeBron James, you know who that is.
Yeah.
It's like, so I think that's been the problem with the NBA is they've only had a handful of teams with these stars, and now that you have you may have a couple teams, even the Knicks. The Knicks don't really have household names.
Yeah, I'd have to disagree. Jalen Brunson's a massive superstar from Dallas.
Right, sure.
And then Karl Anthony Towns,
Kentucky.
Josh Hart. He was with Villanova with Jalen Brunson. Minus that, you do make a good point. I think they're starting 5 notable players. Minus that, nobody.
Notable players.
Right.
To you that watches basketball, but to our
average fan,
right? But to somebody like him that's just going to tune in to watch the finals, not people. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a different
names like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant,
right? Or like even Anthony Davis. There's probably 5 players in the NBA that you could name to somebody on the street and they would know who they are. And that probably goes for any sport. The NFL may have more, but
hey, Indiana's got a Vandy guy. Aaron Neesmith?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right.
He's there.
He was the reason why Indiana won, I think, game 2. I was informed about that.
What's the series record now?
I think Indiana's up 2-1.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think, this is right. New York was down 20 points going into the second half of game 3, and they came back and won. That blows my mind how NBA does that.
But I think Indiana was due for that. Like, because the way they came back and won game 1, you kind of knew they were due. Good question, 8566. Do the teams playing affect the Super Bowl ratings as much as they do for NBA, NHL? Super Bowl feels matchup proof.
That's a good point. I don't know.
I don't think it has. I think it has an effect, but not quite as big of an effect as other sports. Like the World Series, I think last year got people's attention because it was Yankees Dodgers.
Yeah. Right.
And unfortunately, it wasn't a very good series because the Dodgers just owned it. But like that was appealing because it was two historic franchises in the two biggest markets in the country.
And it's Yankees Dodgers.
And it's Yankees
iconic
right.
on that. Yeah. I just think a matchup. I mean, look, if you're going to watch Super Bowl, you watch Super Bowl because you love the Super Bowl. I mean, Arizona, Tennessee might slide by, but I don't know on that. I'll watch because it's Tennessee, but overall, I'm going to watch that if you're living in, I don't know, Denver? Probably not. I mean, it's just probably not. You're probably look at it different. That's why the league often, and they could lie to our face. Oh, we're excited about that, knowing good and well. Like another example, say Iowa State plays Kentucky for the college football championship. I'd love it.
Sure.
But the powers to be in the
that'd be like, oh,
and the TV will be like, oh, come on, man. There's no way we could do that. But I'd love to see that kind of a game in the national championship.
No, okay. So let's say the Final Four of the college football was Iowa State, Kentucky,
Minnesota.
No, Iowa State, Kentucky, Alabama, Ohio State, and they had to beat Alabama and Ohio State to get there. The narrative, the conversation, the whole time would not be how Iowa State and Kentucky won to get to the championship. It would be how Alabama and Ohio State lost.
I agree, and we were also exhausted by the time Ohio State played Notre Dame. We were exhausted. We were like, we barely talked about it the next day.
Yeah,
we're just so tired of that. That's why something different, like Iowa State's never getting there.
No,
Kentucky's never, something like that. But it'd be fun. Like that's what I'm talking about.
But that's what people would talk about, the big blue blood losing.
Yes,
as opposed to the prime example. We just had it happen. It just happened to us here. Cam Ward was the number 1 overall pick. What have people been talking about?
Yeah,
Shedeur Sanders fall.
Shedeur, yeah. You're right. No, I mean, you're wholly right on that. And that's the thing, is that we get exhausted on things. That's why the Indiana, Oklahoma City would be, I think, be fun because it's different.
It would be great.
But the other people outside looking like, nah, I'm not going to watch that. Same way they wouldn't watch an Iowa State and Kentucky national championship.
We'll continue this discussion coming up next, 615-737-1025 if you want to call or text. We will get to you coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, the game on this Tuesday, rolling right along, fast and furious, discussing, big TV markets and franchises. What's funny, Joe, is if you look at the last few Super Bowl matchups and just think about the teams, just think about the cities, they don't blow you away, because what city in particular is in basically the last 5 or 6 Super Bowls?
Kansas City.
Right.
Yeah.
But we watch it because of Patrick Mahomes.
Sure.
Like, you think about this. February 7th, 2021, that Super Bowl. Tampa Bay versus Kansas City. Ugh. Except it was Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes.
Absolutely.
So it's a little bit different, because I think the stars of the NFL, no disrespect, have more pull than the other sports when it comes to pulling eyeballs on the television.
Well, you had the changing of the guard of Brady and Mahomes. I mean, we all watched that.
But Brady kicked the crap out of Mahomes.
Yeah. We didn't know that at 5:20.
Yeah, right. Everybody thought it was going to be the other way around, and that it ended up changing. But I mean, you had like San Francisco. Where do you consider that? I mean, there's a lot of history with the 49ers, but I don't know if that really draws you in.
No, I mean, we're talking us personally here, but I'm telling you, when the NFL draft was here in 2019, 49er fans, there are more 49er fans here than 31 other teams combined. And I will fight you on that, because I was down the middle of it. 49er fans are rabid. I mean, they love that. We just don't see it here because that's on the left coast. We don't see that. But I'm watching because it's football and I love football. But for those on the fence, you're probably not going to watch that.
Yeah. I mean, New England, that's Boston. So that's a good TV market.
Top 5.
Atlanta is a top 10 TV market, but I don't think the Falcons really excite you.
Nope.
Carolina, no. Denver, no. Seattle? No. I mean, you had Seattle, Denver one year.
But that goes back to what we talked about. The NFL is lacking in stars, and they're trying to make stars wherever they can go. I mean, Justin Jefferson's great, but is he talked about?
No, he's not. He's in a different category.
Your son, Jamar Chase, is he talked about? I mean, we talk about him a little bit. But
but Burrow is.
Burrow is. Yeah, he's a star. He's a quarterback and all that.
All right, name me the elite of the elite stars, not necessarily by talent, but just the household. You say this to somebody on the street, they know exactly who you're talking about. Stars of the NFL right now.
Josh Allen.
Okay.
Mahomes.
Yep.
Burrow.
Yep.
You argue with this, but Tua, people know him. The concussions, Alabama, what's going on? And because his name is unique. Tua. You say Tua. Oh, yeah, the quarterback. They might not tell you where he plays, but they know he plays in the NFL. Let's go down. I'm trying to go to the teams that happened there.
Aaron Rodgers,
even though he's still hanging out.
5.
Yeah. And give me defense guys. There's none. Unless I'm missing somebody. Chris Jones for the Chiefs?
No.
When you say Chris Jones, I think of the dude, Robbie's buddy that works for the Sounds. That's who I think about.
Dr. Crane, you got any that stand out?
Defensively? I'm not really.
Right?
I
That's
mean,
a tough one.
Maybe a linebacker or two here or there, but that's about Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
Just because he plays for the Cowboys, and he's good, but he's also on TV all the time.
Right.
I don't know.
Plays for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard.
It really is. And so, in the 80s and 90s, you had massive stars. Now the star power it's shifted to 5, 6, maybe 7 guys. And that you watch a Super Bowl, you can say, I watched the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, it's just.
Well, like 1325 says, the Super Bowl is the Super Bowl. It's going to get ratings no matter what the day is. Basically, it's a national holiday. The cooking, the drinking, and hanging out that's associated with the Super Bowl Sunday is going to happen no matter who is playing. The NFL is king, and other leagues are much more dependent on cities, markets for ratings. I think that's a fair point.
Okay. That's a very good fair point on that. Yep.
But I will say that, and we would love this here, but if next year it's the Minnesota Vikings and the Tennessee Titans in the Super Bowl, you're probably going to see a little bit of a dip.
Oh, a little bit. Heck yeah, you would.
it's still the Super Bowl. You'll still watch, but it's going to be like, eh.
Yeah. That's somebody said. Now do the same for baseball. Who baseball players stand out to you that the non-casual fan would know? I don't know. I mean, we know Mookie Betts here, but it's because A, he's from here, and B, because he's a massive star and he's one of the best players to ever play baseball.
I have to read this text. 8566 with the text of the day. Man, I normally agree with you, but more people know Hawk Tua than Tua.
By the way, where is she?
She's back.
Oh, is she?
She's back. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's doing her podcast again. She talked about the whole meme coin thing.
I need to see that or watch this.
Yeah,
okay.
so I guess
that's a very good text.
Yeah, she's been. Oh, that was. I kind of agree with that one. Tua is a little bit of a stretch.
You mentioned his name, people know who he is.
Right, but I think more in a different sense. Dylan in Antioch says Taylor Swift's boyfriend is one because of her.
Yeah, well, I mean,
the Kelseys. I think the Kelseys probably are in this category, and to an extent, they've done it themselves because they've marketed themselves that way.
Yes.
So I would say, both the Kelseys could be in that, but less about football and more about other things.
And Jason Kelsey shows that not everybody needs a TV show.
Yeah, that is true.
It's very true. Faux show.
Thank you, Joe. Coming up next, we'll talk to Andrew Allegretta, the voice of the Vandy boys, get his thoughts on the postseason as Vandy rolls through and wins the SEC title over the weekend. We'll do that next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on this Tuesday. Hope you're having a great start to your day. He's Big Joe. I'm Chase McCabe, Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier behind the glass as well. Vanderbilt is the number 1 overall seed in the NCAA baseball tournament, and we say hello now to the voice of the Vandy boys, Andrew Allegretta, who is with us. Andrew, I know it was a fun weekend down in Hoover. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you guys?
We're fantastic. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. There was a point in the middle of the season where I was like, okay, definitely feeling better about this team than I did last year, but number 1 seed was not on my mind. And then all of a sudden, you kind of, the old phrase of got hot at the right time. I think that series against Tennessee really was the turning point when you had the, they lost game 1, but then they came back and won the next. Then they swept Kentucky, go in with a ton of momentum into the SEC tournament, and then to run rule your arch rival, your in-state rival. This team just feels like they're clicking on all cylinders right now, and that's going to make them dangerous.
I sure hope so. I do always guard it because it's baseball and because the next day's starting pitcher can change your momentum with a fastball at 98 and the whole thing seems to go poof. But right now, the team has a lot of positive energy. I think one of the things that perhaps gets overlooked about this team right now, Chase, is the fact that they seem to be able to win games in a lot of different ways with a lot of different scores. And that doesn't typically seem like the Vanderbilt of the past couple of seasons. I know everybody talks about the pitching and the defense, but it's a team that had 3 consecutive walk-off home runs versus Alabama, Kentucky, and then Kentucky again. It's a team that was able to run rule Tennessee with 11 singles and then bounce back and win the championship game versus Ole Miss with 2 home runs. And they can do it with tremendous fielding, which they got in that championship game. They can do it with perhaps some unheralded pitching stars. So they've got a lot of different cards that they can play right now, which kind of makes them intriguing. In terms of how that translates to this week's regional, I don't know. I really don't. But right now, the way that they've been able to do things in different ways has been encouraging.
Taking away what may happen moving forward, and we all hope it's a trip to Omaha. But when you look at this regular season and then the SEC tournament as a whole, he's never going to admit it, but how satisfying do you think this was for Corbs to put this team back in the position? Because you heard the chirping out there. Tennessee winning it all last year. Do you think that maybe privately he's enjoying this one, as he should?
I think Coach Corbin, and I know you said guarding against what is going to happen. I just know where Coach Corbin's brain is. He is such a coach, right? So I don't know that he's going to allow that to kind of come through at the moment. But I think there is certainly a satisfaction with the way that this group came together, how it happened, the moment in time that it happened. And some of that, of course, is all of the forces in college athletics, and whether that's the team out east or whether that's the way that NIL has changed the landscape, whether that's all of that sort of stuff, right? Like there was this creeping narrative, which was a little silly that, the moment in time wasn't for Vanderbilt baseball. And I don't, and this is me speaking as, the black and gold insider. I have never felt like Coach Corbin, from what I have seen in my limited time, was this brutally inflexible coach. I have seen a more malleable coach than people would ever want to give him credit for, right? Like, okay, it's a power hitting team and they can't hit a bunch of home runs. Well, I mean, look at Holcomb and Johnston and Barzy and these guys hitting home runs. Here's one of my favorite stats, Chase, of the past couple of weeks. The narrative is Tennessee hits a bunch of home runs and Vanderbilt hits none. In conference play, coming into the tournament, Tennessee had 45 conference home runs and Vanderbilt had 40. That's more from Tennessee, but that's dangerously close on both sides of it, right? So
sure.
I have always seen a coach that was way more malleable and flexible and able to kind of navigate changing tides than perhaps is out there externally. And that's just my 2 cents watching it day to day. But I'm sure because of the way that he's needed to navigate and slalom some of these different scenarios, I think there's probably satisfaction there.
So go back. The last baseball game this Vandy team lost was that opening game, that Friday versus the Vols?
It's 8 consecutive wins since Liam Doyle pitched incredibly well. Yes.
Yeah. So this team, was there one thing we always go back like, this happened, that happened? did anything click in Vandy? Or had they just been playing the same baseball all year long? It just happened to come. This streak started against their hated rival, the Vols.
I actually, and I've talked with Coach Corbin about this too, guys, about what's a turning point. And it's hard to know in the moment, and you can kind of only label it once you get past it. I think the game that a lot of us kind of look at right now is Game 3 versus Oklahoma, which is about a month ago. We had lost a couple of weekends. We had lost 2 in a row versus a team that we thought we could go to Norman and do a little bit of damage against, perhaps, although they've got good players. And then we didn't perform well. And then in Game 3, a couple of things happened. First off, Braden Holcomb, who's our left fielder, 6'4", power hitter out of Florida, he got back into the lineup and he started swinging it better. He had a home run in that game. He had an extra base hit. And for him, he felt like he turned a corner in that game. And then the other thing was, that's when Connor Fennell, this kind of, wild man pitcher who's 6'1", weighs 150, 60, 70 pounds, but has the confidence of Hercules. He started Game 3. And from those points, to me, you saw a team find some pieces that started to connect and to gel. And when that happened, I think they started to really buy into who they were as a team. And it's a team that, cliche as it might be, they definitely all have each other's back. And yeah, there's some of that from the Tennessee game, right? Like Andrew Fisher is very vocal as he goes around the bases. And then, we start to bark back a little bit. We're not going to just sit back and let that stuff sort of happen. So they rallied around each other in a lot of different moments. But, some of that's the Tennessee series. And for us, I think a lot of us point to Game 3 versus Oklahoma a month ago.
Yeah, I think, the job Corbin does, Andrew, with just mentally with his baseball team, and he's done it the whole time he's been here, is fantastic. That's why Friday night, when they play, Tim Corbin's going to make their opponent out to be the number 1 team in America. He'll convince those guys that they're the number 1 team in America, and that's how they've always played so well. I just love the fascinating game he plays with baseball, unlike anybody else in the college game, and you see the results of what he's done.
I think so, too. I think the other part of it, too, Big Joe, is just this ridiculous commitment to the process versus the outcome. And that's coach speak. That's fine. But he and I have talked in advance of big moments and what it means to talk about, you've got to execute this pitch at this time. And, if you don't execute that, you're going to lose, regardless of the jersey, regardless of the moment, and kind of stripping down the exterior is pretty good. And again, I think he's had a different touch with this team. 2025 athletes aren't the same as 2015 athletes. And I think he's managed them accordingly. And when I talk about a malleable and flexible head coach that I've seen, again, personally, that's sort of the stuff that I see just kind of watching from afar. And that's a gift as a coach. That's an absolute gift as a coach to say, I need to change as the moment changes. And I think he is remarkably adept at that.
I remember years ago, we interviewed him about getting to the regional, and we're like, hey, you're 3 wins away, the super regional. He's like, we're also 2 losses away from our season being over. And I thought it was a very basic way to say, look, we got to go out and play our best baseball game. Nobody's going to feel sorry for us. Nobody's going to root for us to go out and get it done. And so sometimes I think the simple approach, Andrew, is the best approach.
I think so too. And I think we also sit here recognizing, feeling pretty darn good about where we are in this moment in time and the players that we have on our team. But we're also pretty cognizant, without 3 pitches versus Alabama, Kentucky, and Kentucky, we could have a totally different outcome. I mean, that's 16 wins in conference play instead of 19 wins in conference play. And that's a different seed at the tournament. That's a different position in a regional if you get a host, right? That's 3 pitches. Baseball can come down to 3 pitches. And game of inches in football, ball bounces off the rim in basketball. I get that it's sport. For the most part, lately things have bounced our way, but, humble yourself and recognize that things could change in millimeters and fractions of a swing in baseball too. So, but again, here's the other thing about us being the number 1 seed. I think probably I mentioned this on the broadcast, guys, this past weekend. Texas, the fact that they didn't get the number 1 overall seed is a little bit tricky to wrap your head around, that the conference champion in the regular season of the best conference isn't the number 1 overall seed. They have not won a game back-to-back since April 27th and 29th. So we're playing very, very well. Our metrics are incredibly well. So some of it is circumstances, right? Like if Texas doesn't kind of stub their toe down the stretch, then we're probably not the number 1 overall seed too. So you talk about holistic 360 picture. Coach Corbin's good about reminding everybody about that stuff too.
Andrew Allegretta is with us. Real quick, what does it say to see the support from other coaches in the athletic department? I mean, Coach Corbin always talks about his conversations with Coach Lee. I mean, even Coach James Franklin, former coach, now with Penn State, has been very supportive of this program. I think that says a lot about Tim Corbin and the program he's built, to see these other coaches from other sports showing their support like they do.
I think it also probably speaks to what Coach Corbin has done over 20 plus years being at other events. I mean, it's not uncommon to see Coach Corbin on the sideline at a football game, right?
Right.
Or at other point in times being there for other athletic events, and certainly people know what he does kind of quietly behind closed doors if he's going to go visit the hospital or whatever it happens to be. Nobody's perfect, and I know sometimes we have these conversations and talk about sports figures like they're deities, but Coach Corbin certainly has left an impact that's really, really strong over the course of 2 decades, which is about him showing up for other people so other people show up for him.
No doubt about that.
I was going to say real quick, people like, well, if he wins it all, this would be, right up to the sunset. And I go back, Andrew, I'll never forget Bobby Bowden and Joe Paterno. People ask him like, well, if you win the next one, are you done? And they're like, all we know is football. We don't fish. We don't hunt. Football makes us young. I'm telling you, Tim Corbin being around 18, 19, 20-year-olds, he's that same age. I mean, physically and mentally, he feels that same age. I don't see him retiring if he wins one. And why? What should he?
Well, I will not even come close to dipping my toes into those waters, because that's a behind closed doors conversation for whenever that's appropriate for Tim and Maggie and the family. But I certainly can articulate, how physically active he is. And what he said at his press conference yesterday was, the joy for him. The 2 times I have seen him win the SEC tournament championship, Big Joe, he is standing back close toward the dugout, right, and watching the players celebrate. And what he said at the press conference is like, that's his joy. The moment that he can have to kind of take a mental picture of the kids that he coached and the young men that he has coached, finding joy and success, that's where his happiness comes from. So, I'm not saying that's going to translate into X, Y, and Z in the future years, but you know where kind of the soul and the joy of Tim Corbin comes from when it comes to coaching baseball.
Andrew, appreciate the time as always. Enjoy it this weekend at the Hawk, and we will certainly be listening.
Guys, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Andrew Allegretta, the voice of the Vandy boys. And again, he will have the call as Vanderbilt takes on Wright State. Their first game in the regional will be Friday. Pregame coverage at 4:45. First pitch at 5 o'clock. You can hear it right here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Coming up next, one national pundit believes that Cam Ward is going to lead the Tennessee Titans to the playoffs in his rookie year. And I was a little surprised when I heard this. We'll tell you who and what he said coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
There's 4 people, and only 4 in my opinion, that will change outcomes. Number 1 is Cam Ward, Tennessee. They were so hard to watch offensively, where even games they outplayed teams, Tennessee was so bad at quarterback with Will Levis. They lost games where they out-physicaled, out-schemed, and outplayed teams. Cam Ward is accurate, moves, coachable. I mean, Miami's had some good quarterbacks. He broke all the Miami records. There's a history of this league when guys come in without a lot of stars and without a lot of pats on the back. Nobody's pandering to them. That's jet fuel. So I think Cam Ward changes outcomes. I think Tennessee's going to be a playoff team.
That was Colin Cowherd on his show saying that Cam Ward will lead the Titans back to the playoffs in his rookie year. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Here on this Tuesday. I saw that on Twitter yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want whatever he's got.
Well, I mean, you look at it. What's
like, I love the belief, but
what's there to gain by him saying this? That's why I like it.
Yeah.
What's there to gain?
Because I think he truly believes it.
Yeah. And he's, go back to Josh Allen. Come out in 20. Nobody believed it. Come on. When they drafted Josh Allen, no. From Wyoming? No.
Right.
No,
nobody thought that. And look, he was terrible his rookie year. I mean, he was his first few years, like you were kind of going, this kid's probably hitting it.
But that arm and the way he threw the ball was like, okay. Unlike Josh Rosen, who got drafted by the Cardinals, the arm wasn't there, and the Cardinals panicked and picked the guy because, like, you got to get a quarterback. You got to get a quarterback. Yeah. And they took him. He's out of the league now. And Josh Allen just came in and got to work, and look what he's doing now. I mean, it's amazing. MVP.
The thing is, I want Colin to be right. I would love for Colin Cowherd to be right. And if it turns out that he's right, I mean, I will give him credit where credit is due, and I will yell it to the mountaintops, or yell it from the mountaintops. But I gotta see it. I don't believe it yet. I think Cam Ward is talented. Now, I do. I think the backstory on this kid is important. I think he works hard. I think he's humble, but also has a little bit of that confidence as well. And so I think he's capable of doing it. It's just my concern is more, is this coaching staff, is this franchise equipped to give him what he needs to succeed? That's what worries me.
They're still the worst team in football.
Right.
Until they're not.
Right.
So to say that he's going to go.
They get the first waiver claim.
Yeah.
From now until the first
perpetuity.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Until they're not the worst football team, that's just a lot to put on them. Just, they'll be back on the field, Wednesday for OTAs, and just get to work, man. And I think he knows that. I mean, I think the guy knows from Incarnate Word to Washington State to Miami and now here, he's had to fight the entire way. So I'm on board now with them. I still wish they had traded all the draft picks away. That's me, because they needed so much. But now that you got him, ride with him. Yeah. And don't insult our intelligence about saying, well, he's going to until number one. Blah, blah, blah. We know he's number one.
I mean, here's my thing, though, and we'll have this discussion until, if they start off 5-0 and he's just on fire, then this discussion will go away. But, you can sit here and go, they probably should have taken the Giants offer, get all those draft picks, keep building, yada, yada, yada. They didn't. And in some ways, you should be happy about that, because they were definitive that this was our guy. I mean, they said they had decided a month or so before the draft, we're going to take Cam Ward number 1 overall.
Right.
He is our guy. We're not listening to calls. We're not, we are all on board that this is our guy. And with all the stuff that this organization has gone through in the last 3 or 4 years, you should be happy about that. You should be happy that they got in a room.
Yeah.
They made a decision. They stuck with the decision. They're all on the same page on the decision, and they did it.
But to say the playoff,
that's a stretch. I mean, look, it's a stretch, and I respect Colin Cowherd. I think he's very good at what he does, and I love that a national pundit has actually said something positive about the Tennessee Titans. But I have a hard time sitting here believing that that's going to happen, more so because of the surroundings and not necessarily the player.
Well, if I'm Callahan, I'm telling the guys, we're going to make the playoffs. I mean, you've got to be positive from day one. You can't look at this like we're 3-14 and God, we're terrible. Hey, man, new team, new energy, new players, do everything that goes on. Be positive about this, and let's go out and do this, and not playing those stupid games where you get points in training camp. Good God. Just go out there and work hard. We have to do
it's
this.
Not training camp. It's OTA.
Whatever it is.
They can't be on the practice field.
So. Whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about. Go out there and just work hard, man, and go for it. It's the tried and true formula to do that. And then they've got to get it done. Now they get quarterback. You got belief. You got coaches that you believe in. It's all there. Now, if you don't get it done, it's your fault now.
Here's the issue, though. When you take Cam Ward out of it and you look at the players around him, name me the playoff caliber type players that are on this roster. L'Jarius Sneed's one of them because he's done it. I would say that Jeffrey Simmons is one of them because he's done it. He's made the playoffs.
Tony Pollard, to me, he's a hell of a
Tony Pollard is one of them because he's done it. But other than that, I mean, there's not a lot. That Kevin Zeitler. I mean, he's got that resume.
Well, same. Give me the Bills team of 18 and 19 when Allen took over. They were not very good. I mean, they won 6-7 games, but they were not where they are now. Now the Bills got to get to another level. So do the Ravens now with Lamar, and they got their own problems to worry about. But they built around them, and so you build around Cam now. I really like Restrepo, the slot guy from Miami. That's his buddy. I get that, and I still don't have the
I don't have an issue with it.
Why he was not drafted. I get that. Yeah. But the tight end out of Texas, that's something.
Love that pick.
Build people around him and go out and get it done. That Denver game is so paramount to everything this franchise wants to do. Go back. They beat the Bears last year. It's a totally different situation. They're not picking number one. They're not picking Cam Ward.
So here, I got a question for you. If one of these, we'll make this kind of a what if. If one of these things happen in Denver, what could have the better outcome? And the question is, if let's say they go into Denver and they win, 28-7, he throws 4 touchdowns, no picks, basically has a Mariota type debut. Is that a good thing or is that a false hope and a bad thing?
What do you think?
Or if they go in there and they're competitive, but he makes a couple of rookie mistakes, they end up losing the game, but they were in it. Like, hey, the better team won,
right?
But they went out there and they definitely had some good things to build on. Like, everybody's going to be sad that they lost, but they'll find that positive. I mean, you obviously want to win the game, but like what probably has a better long-term outcome?
Winning the game.
Okay.
Winning the game. You have to. I mean, you got to win. I don't care how damn good you play. You go play great, go 0-17. Winning the game. Winning spawns so much.
I agree. I agree. But what I'm worried about it, like if they get blown out or they blow Denver out, there's going to be such an overreaction no matter what.
Good.
I mean, that's what's there's gonna be an overreaction from either way that's gonna happen.
Fine.
So
Johnny, get that first win, man. Get that first win.
I agree. I'll take it any way you can.
Right.
I can get it. 615-737-1025. Do you agree with Colin Cowherd? He thinks that Cam Ward's going to lead the Titans back to the playoffs in his rookie year. We'll discuss that and much more coming up next. Also, the PFL World Championship semifinals are Thursday, June 12th at Municipal Auditorium, and you can be there. Text in the keyword MATCH, MATCH, to 615-737-NOW, 737-1025. Now to be entered to win a pair of VIP ringside tickets. Visit pflmma.com/schedule for more details. Chasing Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel and broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios. From the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. He's Big Joe. I'm Chase McCabe, Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier behind the glass. A few texts to get to, including our question of the day, Joe, which is?
Who do you think is the most influential person in football? We're going football blanket, college pro, the most influential person in football. I said when it comes to players and coaches, John Gruden's at the top. Chaser says Greg Sankey. All good answers. We don't want to know who you think is the most influential person in football.
Today, it might be the company EA Sports because they have released the cover of College Football 26. And
Not
that's
a bad
people
one.
Very, very excited to see everybody on that cover. By the way, for the wrestling, I just saw this on Twitter. Sorry, this is squirrel moment. 29 years ago today, for the wrestling fans, Scott Hall made his debut in WCW and cut the famous, "You know who I am, but what you don't know is why I am here" promo. Hard to believe it's 29 years ago. The late, great Scott Hall. But I say Greg Sankey. You said John Gruden. Pretty interesting. Also, 100 days, speaking of football, until the start of the 2025 NFL season.
Might be less than that now. Might be like 98. So, no, 95.
No, NFL season.
Oh, NFL.
National Football League.
I should pay attention more to the
You
show.
should. You should.
That's
okay. I love that. A couple texters on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Patrick, man, what a loaded question on the most influential in football. On the field with the players and coaches, it has to be Tom Brady. And even though he has lost his mind, what do you think about Bill Belichick? Great show as always.
Brady's a good one. I mean, think about that. I mean, to what effect? I think NFL, yeah. And I think he gives great talks.
I think Brady might be having more of an influence behind the scenes that we even know.
Well, was it now that he influenced the draft choice of the North Dakota State quarterback?
Yeah,
He's
maybe.
Like, reminds me of me and all that. Belichick, man. Well, that's a tough one. Gosh, I mean, he is. I don't think he's influential. I think coaching, he's influential means you got to make things happen and people emulate you. And I'm not sure they ever emulated him. I don't know. That's a good one.
No, because that's a really good one, because when you find a diamond, like a true diamond in the rough at pick, what was it, 199?
Something like that, yeah.
In the 6th round with Brady, you would have thought that teams would have tried to do that. Like they would have reached on, and I don't feel like they did. Like I don't feel like the scouting really changed. I mean, there's always reaches in the draft. Just look at the Titans. But I mean, I don't feel like that people are like, here we go. I don't think the 49ers, when they took Brock Purdy as Mr. Irrelevant, said, yep, this is going to be our starting quarterback for the next 10 years. We're going to pay him a crap ton of money and he's going to take us to the Super Bowl.
Right.
They didn't think that. They were just like, hey, we like the tape on him. This is where we had him graded. We're going to take him.
No, I think it went sounded like that, but I think it was like, it's a last pick. What the hell?
Yeah.
That's,
because here's the truth. Here is the truth that nobody, I think, really recognizes and wants to hear on both of those guys. The reason, now Tom Brady, I take nothing away from his career, what he did on the field, but the fact that he got a shot to do it was pure luck.
Yeah.
In circumstance.
That's his speech. It's like, are you ready for the opportunity?
Right. You have to be ready. And he was, to his credit, he did the work to put himself in a position to potentially have an opportunity. But if Drew Bledsoe never gets hurt, we may never hear from Tom Brady.
You're 100% correct.
And with Brock Purdy, it was Lance and who was the other one? Jimmy G.
Yeah, that's right.
Like if they don't get hurt and have to go to the third string guy, we may not know who Brock Purdy is.
That's right.
Man, that's how it is sometimes.
Are you ready when your number's called? Bottom line.
Bingo. On our Cam Ward discussion with Colin Cowherd, Pat and Franklin said, I feel the desire to see Cam Ward do well, But Colin Cowherd is clickbait central. Whatever the rest of the sports world says, he's the opposite. Entertaining, but do you really put stock in it? I think that's a fair point.
My thing is, what's he to gain from this?
Yeah, I mean,
nobody talks about the Titans outside of Nashville. Nobody does.
People might talk about the Titans a little bit more because he said that.
Yeah, that's right. It's not, I mean, an easier pick would be like, Cowboys going to get it this year, make playoffs. I mean, that's something like that. But to go out and put all your cards on the Titans, I would have never done that. That's still the worst team in football.
On the influential, this is a really good one. Matthew in Nashville says John Madden got generations of kids into football with the Madden games.
That's solid, man. I mean, there are different tentacles with this that go on. That's one of them. My thing was Gruden is about still influencing in football and players talking about him on that. And then Sankey about where's football going to go. People are following his lead to do that. But Madden, I mean, you're right. That's the movie. They're making a movie about John Madden. They're not making a movie about John Madden's life. They're making a movie about Madden in the video game. That's how important it is.
Al says, Roger told me the most influential person in football is Taylor Swift.
There are probably some in the NFL office who would agree with you on that.
Maybe. I mean, you talk about bringing in new audiences. She certainly helped that.
Yep. Exactly right, man.
And I mean, the NFL was the last league that really needed help in that department, but she did. There are thank you. There are people, mainly women that are watching football that never gave two craps about football, but because of her relationship with Travis Kelce, they're watching. And that's great.
Yep. Oh, absolutely it is.
Like, I know people that are now diehard football fans because of that.
Somebody sent a list here from 2020. It said the top 25 most influential people in the game of NFL. Number one at the top.
2020?
Overall in the history of the NFL.
Oh, overall.
Vince Lombardi.
From football standpoint, I'd say that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, he certainly changed the game.
So
give me the whole list. I'm curious of this.
3 is Al Davis.
Okay.
4 is Paul Brown.
Who is 2?
George Halas.
Okay.
4 is Paul Brown. 5 is Jerry Rice.
Okay.
Okay. This is Bleacher Report. Bill Walsh at 6, who I agree was very influential.
I mean, the West Coast offense, and that kind of what.
Brett Favre at 7.
I don't know if I'd have him at 7, but I mean, he could certainly be on there because he's a different kind of quarterback that made it work.
Jim Brown at 8.
Yep.
Paul Tagliabue at 9.
Okay.
Number 10, Joe Namath, who I think is number 1.
Joe Willie.
It's funny. Number 25, the top 25, Junior Seau.
I would say yes because of concussions.
Correct. Yep.
And because that was kind of for lack of better, I don't want to use that analogy, but like,
no, you're right. You have to
when
be
it
open
really,
about it. Yeah.
But what I was going to say, when it kind of hit us in the face, and I don't mean it the way it might come out, but I mean that's when it really was like, oh, this is a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think when we don't talk about it and we don't, we're like, well, what happened? We kind of whisper, what happened? No, we need to talk about that. They need to be talked about because there might be others out there that going through the same thing that need to talk, and hopefully they will do that. But to me, Joe Namath, I told you my affinity for Joe Namath. I mean, that there's never been a more, I think, influential guy in the history of football, and he's the one. With the split between the AFL and the NFL and what he did coming in, how he kind of reshaped football and draft picks and all that. Guarantee. Great, man.
Yep. And then Susie Colbert.
I just want to kiss you.
That is an all-time moment for sure. Coming up next, we will tell you what day it is and celebrity birthdays. It's Chasing Big Joe here on a Tuesday. Nashville's best deal of the week, 312 Pizza Company in Germantown. We love 312 Pizza. They serve the best pizza in town as well as Chicago-style eats like Chicago dogs, Italian beef sandwiches, and more. Head to theGameNashville.com/deals to get half off a $30 gift card to 312 Pizza Company while supplies last.
That's when I'm gonna go home and give me some Budweiser. That's $1 million in my pocket, man. Papa John, get your ass over here, man. Let me give you a hug, man. That's another $1 million for me.
Big Joe Peyton Manning earlier.
Sorry about that.
On the show. Do you think he would like your impression or get offended by it?
I think he'd get offended by it. I
Probably.
think as you know, he's very soft-skinned.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that. I just know that from what you've told me.
Right.
I've never met him. I've never talked to him.
Never again.
So there you go. With that, let's get to our favorite segment. What day is it? And celebrity birthdays. It is brought to you by Jarrett Companies, Inc. Use their electrical division for installations, inspections, upgrades, and more. JarrettCompaniesInc.com, above and beyond industry standards. Dr. Crane, the floor is yours.
All right, gentlemen. Short list today, but first one we have is cellophane tape day. So, not sure.
Is it like a cell phone?
It looks like Scotch tape. I'm probably the proper name for it.
Is it clear?
Yeah, a little murky. Yeah. Let's see. National Grape Popsicle Day. Those are delicious.
Love
As a child, when you had those little crayon popsicles, you ever get those? The little they had layers on them.
We couldn't afford them.
I know what you're talking about.
Thank you.
I have those.
National Gray Day. It looks like it involves the brain in some capacity. Nothing to Fear Day is today. And to wrap up the last two, we have Old Time Player Piano Day and Sunscreen Protection Day. So
that's important.
Yeah.
Get your
summertime. Old time player, like a little rag top and a little barbershop outfit hat on.
Yeah.
There.
I could totally see you being like a piano player in like the I don't know, the 1880s or something like that.
If I wasn't in radio, I would probably be, I wouldn't say cutting hair, but my mom's a third generation hairdresser. And my great uncle John was a barber. So this would have been I would have been fourth generation. Yeah.
Nice.
So you don't think, see, I could see you in like the saloon. You're just like, oh, Nikki back there, just playing the piano. And then if trouble breaks out, you got the shotgun under the piano, and you're like, hey, boys, none of that now.
And spit in a dip can. Yeah.
Yep.
You got the bar beside.
You have the mustache. You have the mustache. Oh, yeah.
Well, you've done a good job cutting David Jane's hair, so I think you would do.
It's just a zero, and you buzz it all the way back.
I mean, come on, right? Perfection. All right, time for celebrity birthdays.
By the way, before you do that, real quick, we talked about the college football 26. You are correct. That is Reggie Bush. Kudos to them for giving Reggie his flowers to put him on that.
I love it, man. Good for him.
That was good.
All right, we have a bunch of birthdays. I think the record might get broken there. Record's around 12. I think record might get broken there. If not, I need new contestants. Our first birthday in celebrity birthdays, Toby from West Wing, Richard Schiff. How old is he?
72.
73.
70. Already on the board, Chaser. Well done. Next is the actor Paul Bettany. He was the bad guy in the Da Vinci Code. He was also in was he the bad guy in Man of Steel, Superman 2013? Think so.
So Lex?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. 43.
45.
54. Jack McBrayer, he's on you spell the show 30 Rock, the very fun Southern guy.
Yeah.
He was like a page. He was also in Wreck-It Ralph, the voice.
45.
42.
52. Andre 3000, the rapper.
From Outkast.
With Hutton and Withrow?
It's Outkick.
Oh, Outkick, my bad.
51.
56.
He's 50. Chaser's up 2-0. Tell you, man, I feel good about today. I'll go down here. She was on Barnaby Jones, actress Lee Merriweather.
Barnaby Jones.
The series back in the day with Buddy Ebsen.
73.
77.
90. Chase's favorite singer Bruce Cockburn.
75.
Music notes were flaming. We're going to go 82.
He's 80. Good job, Dr. Crane. 2-1. Susie of Susie and the Banshees. The lead singer, Susie Sue.
77.
82.
68. Lead singer of Crowded House, Neil Finn, who took over for Lindsey Buckingham and Fleetwood Mac.
I didn't know that. 68.
65.
67. Chase up 3-1. Actress Perry Gilpin from Frasier.
What character?
Was she the one with the British accent?
Oh, Daphne?
Was that the one? I think so, or maybe not. Or the other girl, his producer.
That was Roz.
So it's one of those two. I think Daphne. I think it is.
Okay. I'm going to say 57.
67.
64. Comedian Adam Carolla.
58.
53.
61. Not to be confused with Toyota Corolla. From Different Strokes, Todd Bridges.
64.
65.
60. Rapper Jadakiss.
Yeah, I think it's 48.
42.
50. Chase up 4-1. TV chef Jamie Oliver.
47.
53.
50. All right, NFL now. Sports. Jackie Slater, one of the greatest linemen of all time.
Slater is 71.
65.
71 exactly. Chase up 6-1. One of the NFL kickers, Nick Lowry.
Is he still kicking?
I hope not at this age.
Oh.
If he is.
74.
69.
69 exactly.
Nice.
Yeah, 6-3. Chasers up. Pat Cash, Australian tennis player, legend back in the 80s and 90s. Pat Cash.
63.
69.
60. Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt.
53.
57.
57 exactly.
Wow.
It's now 6-5. Jeff Bagwell.
58.
55.
57. Chase up 7-5. Todd Hundley. Not the Chick-fil-A owner in Rivergate, but Todd Hundley, the baseball catcher.
47.
49.
56. Antonio Freeman, former Packer wide receiver.
54.
52.
53. That's a push. Vontae Davis. We got 2 left.
48.
47.
37. All right, it's 7-5. Dr. Crane, you can tie our last birthday. Heisman Trophy winning quarterback from the University of Florida, Danny Werfel.
Ooh. 57.
53.
He's 51 at the buzzer. Chase gets it 7-6.
All right, there you go.
Well
done.
Good competition, Dr. Crane. Good game. Good game.
You guys do well. I like this.
That is going to do it for us today.
Hey, as our message every show, we leave you guys to our guys out there. If you are struggling, know that we love you. If you're going through something, please talk to somebody. We beg you. We implore you. We pray that you will. On your cell phone, you can call or text 988. Somebody's always there. We really appreciate all the men who've reached out to us. Know that we love you. We care about you. We pray for you every single day. Your journey is a tough one. Sometimes it's a beautiful one, but it's still your journey. If something happened to you, you'll be tremendously missed. To let you know that we tremendously love you. Not just us, but more important, more than anything else in the world, God loves you.
Amen to that. Peace, love, rock and roll. DVD coming up next here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game.